Ever dreamed of a cool, high-tech electric car, only to find it brings more problems than joy? Picture driving your new EV home only to discover issues like overblown range claims and faulty charging ports. EV users are suing manufacturers, claiming their lives have become miserable. Let's explore some shocking examples. Number 6. Tesla exaggerated range estimations. When purchasing an EV, what is the most important factor for you? For many, it's undoubtedly the range. EV manufacturers know this very well, so the first thing we see when we visit a manufacturer's website is range claims for its models, along with pricing, acceleration, and other details. But what if those claimed figures don't exactly reflect reality? Fortunately, the EPA exists. Following an audit, it directed Tesla to reduce their range estimations. Have you ever wondered how different countries regulate such claims? For example, South Korean officials penalized Tesla after discovering that some models have cold weather ranges as low as half of what is stated. Many investigations, including one by Reuters, indicated that Tesla exaggerates its range by 26%. This revelation encouraged dissatisfied customers to finally speak up. California homeowners James Porter, Brian Perez, and Dr. Israeli Ezian expressed their worries to Tesla, but the firm assured them there was nothing wrong with their vehicles. Imagine the frustration. Eventually, it all concluded with a class action lawsuit in the Northern District of California, which sought undisclosed monetary penalties and a court order preventing Tesla from falsely advertising the projected range of its vehicles. How would you feel if you realized that the actual autonomy of your car was much less than advertised? Of course, Tesla owners aren't the only ones who feel deceived by the company's advertising. Chevy Bolt owners face comparable, albeit more serious issues, given that GM's electric vehicle proved to be highly problematic, with a significant danger of catching fire. Can you imagine discovering that your car has had such a severe issue? Number 5. Chevy Bolt lawsuits. What's more noteworthy is that some sources suggest Chevy was aware of the battery issues, but proceeded to sell vehicles nevertheless. Eventually, the business issued 3 recalls, each with some of the most bizarre instructions to owners seen in decades. Specifically, GM encouraged drivers to keep the battery charge at 90% and to never let the remaining range drop below 70 miles. What would you do if you had to constantly monitor your car's battery to avoid a potential disaster? Furthermore, owners were encouraged to oversee their vehicles while charging and, most oddly, not to park near fire hazards. This meant that the Bolt's features fell well short of what was planned. Finally, a solution was reached. Owners who updated new software to resolve the flaws received a $1,400 payout, while those who sold the car in the meantime and those who leased the Bolt were eligible for a $700 payment. Now, Ford also had a part to play in this. Number 4. Ford dealers frustrated with EV certification program. It's not just newcomers who are dissatisfied with the way electrification is proceeding. Dealers are too. When it appeared that EVs could capture a sizable share of the market, Ford launched a certification scheme with requirements for dealers to become qualified to sell electric vehicles. Initially, over 2/3 applied for this optional program. Would you have been one of them? As electrification slowed, dealers began to change their plans. They were expected to invest heavily in fast chargers, training programs, and other such initiatives. But the most frustrating aspect was Ford's insistence on selling EVs at fixed costs. Did this impact their business? Eventually, a group of Arkansas dealers filed a formal complaint. Soon after, 27 Ford dealers in Illinois complained, and Ford dealers in New York launched the first lawsuit against the certification program. The lawsuit claims that the program incorporates unlawful franchise adjustments, discriminatory price requirements, and unlawful allocation systems. According to the present franchise agreement, each dealer has the right to sell any Ford vehicle, including the most recent EVs. It appears that Ford authorities finally realized this, thus the firm decided to discontinue this contentious program and enable all dealers to offer electric vehicles without any specific conditions. What would you have done if you were a Ford dealer? Number 3. Tesla's automatic software updates. About a year ago, Tesla Model S and Model X customers filed a complaint alleging that automated upgrades had a harmful influence on their batteries. Have you ever experienced unwanted software updates on your devices? According to the lawsuit, owners say that these modifications not only had a negative influence on the batteries, but also broke federal and state standards. The updates reduced driving range by 20%, forcing many owners to replace their batteries and spend an additional $15,000. The issue is that Tesla imposes software updates without consent. So whenever the vehicle connects to a Wi-Fi signal, it may initiate some software updates, causing more damage than use. What would you do if you couldn't opt out of such updates? The lawsuit urges that Tesla violated the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, the California Unfair Competition Law, and the Consumer Legal Remedies Act by refusing to refund Model S and Model X owners following software updates. Musk and Tesla did not reply immediately, but the company's website says regular over-the-air software updates are available to add new features and improve current ones. What if a software update negatively impacted your vehicle's performance? We would surely be worried. Number 2. Misleading self-driving claims. Many Tesla owners feel as if they've been duped for years, despite the fact that Tesla has promised autopilot and other self-driving technologies since 2016. Throughout the years, the Texas-based EV company sold its models in such a way that new technology appeared to be just around the corner. Would you trust such claims? It turns out that was simply a ploy to attract more buyers and sell cars at greater prices. As a result, it's not surprising that U.S. District Judge Rita Lynn in San Francisco ruled that owners could pursue these fraud-based claims because their purchase decisions were based on Tesla's assertions about the vehicle's hardware and capacity to go coast to coast throughout the United States. The first case of this kind was led by Thomas LoSavio, a retired lawyer from California who paid an $8,000 premium over the regular price for full self-driving capabilities on a Tesla Model S in order to make driving safer, taking into account his age and the benefits of self-driving technology. Tesla projected that vehicles would be able to steer, accelerate, and brake in their lanes, with the more advanced versions even allowing them to heed traffic lights and change lanes. 6 years later, LoSavio was still waiting for the technology he paid for, but Tesla has never developed a completely autonomous vehicle. The lawsuit seeks unspecified damages for purchasers who bought or leased Tesla cars with autopilot, advanced autopilot, and complete self-driving features since 2016. How would you seek justice if you were in their shoes? Let's get into what Hyundai has done. Number 1. Class action lawsuit against Hyundai over charging issues. EV owners are frustrated for a variety of reasons, regardless of manufacturer or model. While some users complain about the range or performance, others have issues with basic tasks like home charging. Have you ever faced difficulties with something as fundamental as charging your device? That's why Hyundai is facing a worldwide class action lawsuit alleging that a fault in the plug ports causes overheating while completing level 2 charging at home, resulting in drastically decreased recovery speeds. The lawsuit includes many owner complaints about the plug overheating, which delays or prevents charging altogether. How to handle such a persistent issue? To remind you, the Korean automaker claims that level 2 home charging takes 5 to 7 hours to fully recharge the battery. But it turns out that the charging plug can overheat in less than 30 minutes and stop charging, resulting in owners not being able to add much range during these home charging sessions. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration cited multiple complaints on its website, with one of the owners claiming that the vehicle app reported a charge failure every 2 to 3 minutes. How frustrating would that be? Meanwhile, Hyundai attempted to address the issue by developing a new software batch that prevented overheating, but still left owners with charge durations of 10 hours or longer. Finally, the lawsuit claims that unexpectedly discovering a car with an uncharged battery in the morning causes major disturbances in people's lives and could have disastrous effects in an emergency. Meanwhile, Hyundai continues to sell automobiles that are as manifestly incapable of operating as described and fail to deliver on their promises. It would be embarrassing if your car couldn't perform its most basic function, isn't it? That's all, guys. As you've seen, not everything is as smooth and eco-friendly as it seems. What do you think about these issues? Are you getting an EV in the near future? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned into the latest automotive trends and news.